Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching America's #1 cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, and I am not alone. With me are
William White, aka Ninja Panda 1980.
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
Ninja Jupi or Wendy or Jupi-chan or whatever you want to call me. And now I turn this over to the one, the only, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man who likes high tube just like me, Johnny
Rodriguez.
who also hates Moxley.
Oh, yeah, freaking match.
all right. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna go over our thoughts on AEW Revolution, which is of course Sting's retirement match, and Wendy will keeping track of the score, who was right, who was wrong, stuff like that. A lot of things to talk about because Sting's match, and also this episode. You'll find out when we do the next episode, whenever we do the next review of whatever, I guess AEW Dynasty is next. So whenever we do that one, you'll notice that things will be different around here in our surroundings. So let's get ready to do, like they say, like Sting said, it's showtime for the last time. So yeah, let's start it off with the pre-show matches, and you guys can drop your thoughts. And let me see here. We're gonna. There's a lot to say in this episode, but for the sake of me not editing for multiple hours, we're going to try to go, get to the point and stuff like that.
Alrighty.
All right, so for the pre-show, first match we had here was the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which is Matt Caster, Anthony Bowens, Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn, and Jay White, that does not look happy to be there, going up against Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, Willie Mack, Private Party, which is Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Queen with Sanjay Dutt there, and Karen Jarrett there. 12-man tag team match for the hell of it. I really don't remember too much about the match. I just remember that we did get to see Satnam Singh finally get in there, throw someone and leave because, he doesn't really wrestle much. He's just, I don't even know why he's there. He's like this big, tall dude. He's just there just to kind of be intimidating because, oh, fuck, big, tall dude. But, But it was a match. That's all I can say. It was a match. I think it was entertaining, maybe for what it was at the time, sorta. It's just
Yeah, it was a match. I don't remember anything about it, honestly. All I know is that it's a match. It happens.
yeah. Any quick thoughts on that one, guys? I know we don't really remember too much because they're like the first shows of the card. You know what I mean? But any of you guys remember anything about those?
I do know I could tell Jay White he's mentally the same way I am with his career. And it's basically like, it's a job now. He doesn't even have any joy in it anymore. His feeling about it is the same way I feel about it. It's like, oh, well, why try? What's the point? And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, okay, that's kind of how I feel with, I think he's kind of mentally checked out because he's like, well, okay. And that's kind of where he's at. And I'm kind of in the same way. So it's like, okay.
I'm just confused it was how we got stuck with them because I just don't get it. Because he was with Juice, wasn't he? Juice Robinson and them? How do you...
Yeah.
Because Khan doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And the whole thing of it was after and remember, I called this. I said after he buried Jay White, he's not going to know what to do with him. He's going to bury him to help MJF, and then he's not going to know what to do with him. And that's where he's at now. He really doesn't know what he's doing with him. And because of that, and Jay knows that he doesn't care because he's seen other guys. He's seen other guys, him do it to them too. And he's just like, okay. And he's just, well, I guess I'm in it for the long haul. So he's just going to phone it in. That's where he's at. And that's kind of where I'm at with him. I'm like, well, I'm waiting for you to jump ship, bro. I'm waiting for the best because
So what happened? What happened to the Golden Bullet Club though? Or Bullet Club Gold, whatever. They're injured or something, or?
Well, I think basically right now, from what I can gather, they're trying to dissolve Bullet Club because not overall, but I think New Japan. With what's going on with New Japan is that they're basically trying to reclaim their old properties. So good example, little side note, in Impact Wrestling, or TNA Wrestling, Ace Austin and Chris Bay were a part of the Bullet Club, and they would actually come out and you'd hear them go, Bullet Club for life. They got rid of the Bullet Club logo. They got rid of the whole Bullet Club thing. So they basically they're unofficially like cut them out of Bullet Club, I guess, in a sense. And I think that they're slowly trying to transition out of the Bullet Club and turn the Bullet Club Gold into essentially the Pepto-Bismol scissory butt fucker guys. I don't know what they're called. I don't care.
God,
Those
dude.
guys. Those guys. And they're going to make, I'm going to call it now. They're going to make Jay wear pink tights. They're going to make all this stupid stuff. And it's a waste because I think it's because slowly over time, and it's becoming more apparent to people as time is going by, New Japan is slowly realizing that working with AEW is a detriment and not a positive.
Wow.
Mm.
I do feel sorry for Jay White, honestly. I do.
Mm. Now, you got any thoughts on the match, or that's it?
Like I said, it was a match, and like you said about Jay White, I mean, seriously. I mean, I even said it at the time. You know, it's like they don't know what to do with him because after the MJF review, which Jay White really should have won, but is what's done is done. Okay, we got to hear from the Panda. You know, it's been a while. We got to hear what the Panda thinks about this, man.
Yeah, in this situation, I totally agree with Jack. Like, it was just a match. It was there. But you can see the disgruntled look on Jay White's face, and that pretty much said it all. I mean, after the MJF match, he pretty much made him a jobber. So, I mean, at best, if he were to run a solo in AEW, at best, he'd be a low-line mid-carder. And everybody that knows Jay White, that knows him, not just AEW fans or WWE fans or any of that, true New Japan fans that know Jay White and know his career, know that he is way better than that and way better than any of the crap that they're pumping out in this roster recently, with the exception of Will Ospreay. So to do something like that, yeah, I don't blame him, but he's definitely phoning it in. He's just riding out his contract. Then after that, I'd go ahead and I'd hit Japan all over again and just say, screw it. I mean, I don't blame him, but like, other than that, it was just a match. It was there. I mean, you know, the Pepto scissor crap, if they get him to go along with it, I guarantee you that will be the quickest ending of a contract ever, because I'm sure he'll probably lose his mind and just break that contract right there, mid-match, in public. And I couldn't blame him. Like, it was fucking ridiculous.
Here's one quick question that I have, and this is a bit of a tangent, and I can't understand this for the life of me. How is it that you can't push Jay White? You can't push a guy who's established, who's a good wrestler, he's a good worker. He can work with anyone, really. Mm-hmm. And yet, Pac, who has been more consistently injured since AEW's infancy than any other wrestler I've ever seen. Like, this guy has injured himself and been on the shelf by himself so many times, and yet as soon as he comes back, every time he gets a big push. Like, I don't understand it.
I don't know.
Well, one of Tony's favorite action figures.
Has Jay ever been on WWE at all? Throughout his history or whatever?
No, he's been only in New Japan, but I do know for a fact that at the height of their fame, prior to Wrestle Kingdom 15, was it 15? Yeah, 15.
It's 15.
Yeah, it's 15. Before the main event and all that stuff, like, I guess the week prior, Jay White was actually visited via helicopter in his ranch in Arizona by Triple H himself.
Wow.
And offered a multi-million-dollar contract. But he said politely, I respect the company. I want to work with you guys someday. But right now, I'm very loyal to New Japan, and they need me right now more than you guys do. But at the later, I would love to work for you guys later. That's why what I thought when his contract ended up in New Japan, he would go to AEW. But the thing of it is, it goes back to that loyalty thing, man. The only reason he signed with AEW is because they had the backing with New Japan, because he's the first wrestler. Think about it, he's the first wrestler to have an okay by the company to use the Bullet Club name outside of New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And other than Ring of Honor, but they were already in a joint. But this was a solely by himself effort. And I'm like, that's... Yeah, but no, to answer your question, no, he's never worked with WWE. But I know Hunter is literally, he's on one of those people, him, Julia, certain people where he's just like waiting and waiting and waiting, contract, timer. Like, I know.
And it'll be Tony Khan's fault. And someone else they left slip through his fingers.
What about you, Johnny? What did you think of the match? It's a Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Oh. Okay, so on a personal note, it was, I would say at the very least, it was so entertaining because, you know, the Bang Bang Scissor Club, they do their rap, they do all their scissoring gimmick, you know, it's kind of fun. It's kind of entertaining match. I don't think it's not a match to really be taken too seriously. But just like what everybody else have noticed, Jay White does look very, like, off, very serious. He looks like he kind of doesn't want to be there. Even from the most casual wrestling fan point of view, just hearing from a lot of fans saying great things about Jay White, yeah, right? Jay Lethal,
Yeah, Jay
right?
White.
Yeah, Jay White.
Right.
Okay, how great of a wrestler he is. And, you know, he has quite a legacy. It's even from a most casual, like, wrestling fan point of view, you're still thinking, okay, what are they doing with him? Because they're not really doing much with him in AEW. They're not really giving him the push, like how they give push to other wrestlers, but with him, they're not really doing anything about it. So even from the most simplistic, like, viewpoints, you can tell that, like, AEW, it's like, it seems like they don't have no interest whatsoever with Jay White. It's like, it's rather disappointing, actually.
Yeah.
All I could say.
So that one, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang won the match, and
everybody chose the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, so that means everybody gets a point. Now, our next match, our second, 0-hour match was Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale with, Stokely in the background or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, I just like the title card with him, like, literally in the background. So.
Yeah. I remember it being a pretty fun match, and I know Chris got to show off her power as usual and everything. And, of course, Willow's got the hype and everything. it's been so long, I kind of forget the details. I think that was the match I was still kind of sort of getting snacks and stuff ready for. But, I mean, it's always fun.
No.
No?
No.
Was I dozing off again? Or?
Yes, you were.
Oh, God. Well,
I was like, oh, my God, you are sleeping. I was like, oh, my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going to jump ahead. This was a great match. This was a main show type of a match for me personally. I thought it was great. The spots were good. Everyone did good in this match, in my opinion. I thought it was great. I was mad at you for being asleep for most of it. Anyway.
It's a long day. You know how it is.
Yeah. Okay, everyone else, what did you guys think? I just thought it was amazing.
I was actually, I will give kudos. Here's the thing. I noticed this is something a lot of people don't ever really pay attention to with these kind of matches. So you look at Julia Hart and you look at Sky Blue. They are very, and I mean, even for a women's division, very petite women. And Willow and Chris are very big women. So you think, oh man, they're going to destroy them. But the way they actually used them was actually in a proper way. They actually used them in a good way. They gave them a good balance. And there weren't any spots where I was like, oh, I thought they were gonna kill them. You know what I mean? Like not like, oh, in story mode. I mean, like actually, like, oh shit, did they like punch her and break her rib or something like that? You know what I mean? But no, they did a good job. It was a good, solid match, and I agree with agree with Jupi. It should have been on the main card, but but like I said, I mean, yeah, it was a pretty solid match. That was a good way to open the show. I'll give them kudos on that. That was a good way to open up the pre-show leading up to the main show, but it should have been probably on the main show. In fact, I would have, with the first match and this match, I would have switched them. But I know storyline, but that's just me.
Yeah, and again, I gotta agree with Jack. Like, this was actually a pretty surprising match. I thought it was gonna be a yawn fest, but no, they actually utilized their character speeds. You have Willow, who's more of a powerhouse, versus, the other characters that are like speed characters, and they use that, as a main tool in the match. You have these really petite female wrestlers that are faster, but then you've got like the two stronger wrestlers, and they use that to a fault. There were no botches. Like, if there were, like, they were really hard to see. This was a really good, grounded women's match. That's something I've been looking for a long time. And yeah, I also got to agree with Jack in the case of this should have been on the main card. It shouldn't have been a pre-show, but it was a good workup to open up the event. I will give them credit where credit's due, but that should have actually been somewhere on the card. If they do a part 2, Tony better be smart, put that on the damn card.
That's the problem. You said it yourself. Tony needs to be smart.
Yeah, I know. But here's the wishful thinking.
Okay, so unfortunately, I don't remember too much about the match, but I did remember that it was still a very good, impactful match because Chris Statlander and Widow, they're both very powerful women, and they actually showed a lot of their strength in this match. Not to say that Julia Hart didn't do her thing, but I think that, I think Willow and Chris Statlander overpowered them. And I just remember it being a very exciting match. I just wish my mind wasn't foggy right now to actually remember the damn match, but it was really good. And it was kind of disappointing that Mark was sleeping though during that match.
That was a long day. You know how it is. But yeah, so that match, Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale won the match.
Yes, so the results of that one, because I got a little sidetracked there. So let's see, so the only ones who got points for that one, because Chris and Willow won, would be Johnny. I picked that match, picked that and Panda. So we all get points for that one. And Mark and Jack went with Julia Hart and Sky Blue.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, it's really, the only real reason is, like, if I was going off of common sense, it would have made sense. I was just thinking, well, she's the champion. I don't know why they would have her lose, but then.
Yeah, Tony Khan booking.
You got conned.
Khan! So anyways, now for the actual match, we got everyone's favorite stepfather. He's not just a stepfather, he's a father that stepped up. We got Christian Cage with Patriarchy, which is Killswitch, Mother Wayne, and Apology Nick Wayne going up against Daniel Garcia, and yeah, so that's the other one. I kind of don't remember too much the details of the match. I do know that Daniel likes to fake everyone out now. He doesn't dance too much. He just does the thing and then just stops or whatever. Like, I don't know.
And that makes me very sad.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good match there. Christian Cage did retain the title. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't see Daniel Garcia being the one to take it from him. But, your thoughts, amigos?
Yeah, I knew Garcia wasn't going to win. There was no way in hell, because it was too. Well, if he was going to drop the belt, it's not going to be to him. And second of all, he had too much of a deck stacked against him, and you knew there was going to be a bunch of shenanigans everywhere. And I was like,
shenanigans.
No.
Now, do you remember? The only thing I do remember is that Danny Magic got in there. And he did get into Killswitch's face. And there was like a thing where I think the mother was going to try to hit him or whatever. And there was a bit of a face off.
Yeah.
So
there was that. there was that. There was also the spot where he faked the knee injury, where Christian, he was like about to hit him with the running spear, and then he like fell to his knee. He's like, oh, on my knee. And then they're like, oh my God, is he hurt? I did it. And then he rolled him up, tried to pin him or something like that. Oh, I can't remember exactly, but there was a bunch of spots like that. It was basically like, it was a heat match. It was all just to get heat on Christian. And then, I just.
And to remind people that Daddy Magic still works here.
Yeah, because I honestly forgot. I really did forget, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was there. It was fine. I didn't really care about. I didn't really care for the match at all. I really don't remember too much other than maybe a couple spots here and there, but that's about it.
I don't know. Like, it was just kind of there. I remember the match happening, but like I didn't really remember any valuable spots. As far as Danny Garcia goes, like, he was completely outnumbered in this whole thing. They might as well just been the Jump Daniel Garcia Cup. That's might as well what it's been, because I know that there was a bunch of shenanigans that went on. I do remember that. I don't remember anything in particular, but like the more and more that this goes on, I'm slowly starting to notice something. Like, all he does is constantly dance, get beat up, and lose. He's starting to turn into the 2024 version of Disco Inferno.
Oh.
I said it.
Oh.
But yeah, he's slowly turning into Disco Inferno. And frankly, I'm just like, it was to be expected. But like, like Jack also said, if it wasn't for that match, I wouldn't have realized Christian Cage was still on the roster. I thought he was gone. Like, I thought he was going to be in the back with the rest of the AEW missing milk cartons.
Oh.
We should just call him Disco Garcia. That's what we
Disco
should call him. And then he should just come out, and then you should come out, splice up his dancing, and just go, burn, baby, burn. Disco Garcia, burn, burn.
Oh, dude, make him do like whatever, and then, like just kind of mix that up. Oh no, that's Bat Garcia.
Oh my gosh.
Your thoughts, Johnny?
So my opinion of this match, pretty much like what everybody else have said. I feel like I felt like Daniel Garcia had been terribly outnumbered by Christian Cage, by Killswitch, even Butter Wayne got in the way during the match. Like, it's just like, I mean, it was still a good match because it just shows how ruthless Christian Cage is. It's just that I don't see the purpose of having him fighting versus Daniel Garcia to begin with. My opinion.
It's a chance for the title, Johnny.
I think it's
yeah.
But also too because Garcia want to break away from the Jericho Appreciation Society thing. He want to be out on his own, so he's going for these title shots. But like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but they had this thing where they were showing everybody after their matches, like backstage. And they showed Daddy Magic with Daniel. He's like, "Come on, man. You can do better than that, man." And then, Daniel's upset because he keeps losing his matches and all that stuff. I know I showed it. At least I think some of you. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
I did see it, but I think what Johnny means, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Johnny. What I think he means is like it felt like there was like almost zero build to this match.
Oh, yeah, there's like this real storyline from a story perspective. Yes, thank you for overfilling.
Yeah. There was nothing. There was no. It's like he gets a shot. What? What? Okay. Like it was kind of like that. It was kind of like, oh, we booked you in a match. Like they booked this match the same way they would book a Dynamite. Oh, we just gave you a shot. Cool. But this is a pay-per-view. They should have built a little more to it.
Well, in that regard, yes, I agree 110% with Johnny. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, there was no point as from a story perspective, but from character perspective, I have to establish myself. during a match that should have been on Rampage or Collision, you know?
And then this just shows that Tony Khan doesn't know what to do with his wrestlers, because I do see potential with Daniel Garcia, and it's just kind of disappointing that they keep putting him into these matches he keeps losing. So again, what the hell are they doing with Daniel Garcia other than him doing this little dance here and there? Like,
hey, Panda. Hey, Panda, do you agree with me on this sentiment? Garcia, Hook, and I don't know. Let's say Kyle Fletcher. I don't know. Maybe some other younger guys. They should leave to AEW, go to New Japan Strong.
Yes. Especially the Hook.
Hook is not being utilized like he should. I like Hook.
Yeah, Hook
Me
is...
too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even from his lineage, I mean, the guy's the son of Taz. You know, him being a tough guy fighter, even though, like, let's be honest, dude dresses like Lil Mac from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Let's just be real about it. But,
I kind of dig his vibe. He kind of is like that guy. I kind of dig his vibe. But my point I'm making is, the reason I say this is because a guy like Daniel Garcia, a guy like Hook, they're guys, and I see it a lot in some people in NXT too. I see a lot of it in these younger guys. It's like they're coals and they need to be like smoothed down to become like more refined, and everything is there. Like they got the skills, they got the mic work, they got all this. It's just, okay, well, how do we use you proper? And clearly Khan doesn't give a shit about using them proper. So I'm saying take these guys off the card, put them here, take them to New Japan Strong, have them wrestle for about 2 years, like get them out of their contract so they can come back after 2 years. They get off their contract, they go to New Japan Strong, they get really recrafted there. They learn the ropes of the New Japan legends, the guys who can actually work, and they could even work with AEW talent too. And they could build with them, work with their in-ring repertoire. They could build their craft, build their characters, and then come back better than ever. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just, it's almost there, because you're 100% right, Johnny. He's got the damn skills. I've seen him in the ring. He's a fantastic wrestler. I also think, like I said, Hook, same thing. It's all there. You just, it's like, I want to say it's like you're 9/10 of the way there.
yeah.
It's just, but they don't have any sort of way to help you with that 10%. And I don't think Khan's going to really push forward.
Ooh, now, here's a scary thought in that situation. Now, what if they took Hook and Garcia and sent them to New Japan? And when I say start them training from the beginning, I'm talking have Garcia and Hook start off as young lions and work their way up and then come back. Nobody in AEW would be able to touch them.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, because Tony would still book him badly.
That's true. It's just,
they'd be Bang Bang Scissor Gang too.
Oh, God.
That's true. That's very true. I just, yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, Christian Cage retained the title for that one. So
the winner of that one, everyone just knew Christian Cage was going to win. I mean, come on now.
All right. So the next one here, we got Eddie Kingston versus Daniel American Dragon, and the single match for the Continental Crown Championship, which would be the AEW Continental Championship, the Ring of Honor World Championship, and the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Championship. And also, if Eddie Kingston would win, Brian would have to shake his hand, So yeah, it's a pretty good match. Lots of submission moves even there. The usual, chopping contest that they love to do whenever Kingston's involved. It becomes a chopathon and stuff like that. And
yeah, you're right. And something I found interesting about this match was Eddie Kingston himself, because I know he's, because he trained, Japan and all that stuff and his strong style, but he was actually using some like submission moves, and I never really noticed that before. So I found that kind of interesting for the match.
Yeah, it was a good mix of like the hard strike stuff, but also a lot of technical wrestling and actually trying to out wrestle each other. You know.
Yeah, since Daniel Garcia, oh my gosh, oh Brian Danielson, he's a more technical wrestler, and Eddie Kingston's more of a like a brawler or power, and it was interesting how they mixed them up with that.
It reminds me that one pay-per-view with CM Punk and MJF. We had Abris watching it with me and everything. And, you had all these matches, dog collar matches and weapons and Moxie with the blood, all that stuff. And then it was Daniel Bryanson versus whoever he was with that was technical. And she was like, oh my God, they're actually wrestling. They're actually grappling. And it goes, yeah, they do that sometimes. But yeah.
It's almost like having it's like having actual wrestlers wrestle is actually a good idea.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you went first, Jupes, because I actually did want to get your opinion because you said you're not really super into the strong style.
I think it really just depends on how it's used. But I get tired of seeing strikes all the time, but I also want to see some I want to see some grappling.
No, I understand that. I mean, I understand that mentality. I thought this was a fantastic match. I thought it was really well done, really well paced. The one major downside to the match, though, and this is why it was like almost amazing. Almost. It was a great match, but it was almost amazing. The ending was just such a bland. Like the ending was just kind of there. I mean, like Kingston won with just a basic power bomb 1, 2, 3, and that was it. I was like, it was kind of like the same way everyone had the feeling about MJF just passing out. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily the fact that the way he lost. It was more of like, oh, okay, it just ended. It did usually when you book an ending of a match, and especially for this kind of a big match, you need to book it in a way that's like the crowd can almost follow along with the ending. But with a power bomb, it's kind of such a generic move that's so overused that it didn't really feel like a match ender move. Basically, is my mentality.
It's the Burger Kingston power bomb.
It was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was. It was very anticlimactic. I was kind of hoping. Now, if he had done a power bomb and then picked him up and did the back fist, then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. Like he's like goes for the power bomb and he goes and Danielson kicks out and he's like, oh, and then he gets up and then he just sets him up and then he does like a spinning back fist. That would have been like, okay. It was almost there.
Now here's a question, Jack. What if when Kingston does the power bomb, he calls it the Whopper? Would that have improved any? Or? Because at least then instead of just saying power bomb, it's like, oh my God, he hit him with the Whopper. It sounds a bit more, than just power bomb.
Well, there was that one spot that Kingston did when he dove through the ropes to go after Danielson, and you made that comment about how, hey, I didn't know penguins could fly. That was so messed up, man.
He's in better shape than I thought he'd be in, but I think he's never going to get rid of that gut because of his hernia and stuff. But I was like, I do find it funny how like
I didn't know.
He left because he had to have hernia surgery.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's got the gut because of the hernia. That's the whole reason he left is because he had to have hernia surgery.
Okay.
But like the thing of it is it's funny because it's like, yeah, I mean, like he's finally getting enough kudos. I did see a video of him, which was really funny. It was on my feed, and he was working out with this guy at the gym, and he was talking about how he's like, hey, so now that you're this big, Triple Crown champion, like what's like what do you see yourself? He's like, I don't know, man, but the one thing that I will tell you is the biggest pain in the ass is carrying all 3 of these belts, man. I didn't realize I had to go through so much hassle. I have to take them everywhere, and it's a pain in the ass to carry all 3 of them all the time. It's like, you know how many times I get stopped at the airport and they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm in a wrestling. And they go, oh, Like WWE? No, not like
I was like, nah, another one.
the other
Impact.
one.
Oh God.
Damn it.
You know, the other
GC,
ones.
GCW.
Yeah, I was
You'd be
gonna say that.
GCW?
Oh,
How
God,
the fuck do you know that? No, anyway, but yeah, I mean, like I said, much respect. Thought it was a great match. Almost match of the night. Not quite, but almost. What do you think, Johnny?
So this Eddie Kingston match, I don't remember too much of it because I don't know why my mind is so foggy tonight. But the Eddie Kingston match is still a good match overall. I mean, he does a very famous, chop that he always has to do. He always has to do that in every match.
Yeah.
And the only thing I did remember is that he did seem to have fought a little bit more technical than usual because I guess he was fighting against Bryan Danielson. And, he's very technical. So I guess he kind of fought a little bit that style to match the energy. But other than that, it was still a very good match. I just don't really remember too much about it. But it was still, I would still say it's probably one of the best match Eddie Kingston has had in a while.
Mm.
Your thoughts, Panda?
All right. Let's hear from the Panda.
Okay, you know what? I will say this every single time, and it works because every time that I say something negative about Kingston, he comes back and he shuts me the hell up. Like, I was on this one. I was like, okay, he's going against Daniel Bryan. He's more of a technical wrestler and a bit of a shooter. I don't really think he's going to work through this one. He must have taken some stuff that he learned from being in the Grand Prix of the IWGP Climax and worked it out because he actually had some technical moves which I've never seen him do before. He's mostly a striker. He's mostly a brawler. Mm-hmm. And here he is coming out with technical moves, and he actually went the distance with Bryan, who, even with that being said, for a heavier guy, you have to have some sort of cardio to deal with somebody like Bryan. And he stayed up with him toe to toe the entire match. Now, given, the ending was a little bit anticlimactic, what I would have done as far as that ending would have gone, and this might have been, a little bit better, sure, keep the power bomb, but put it in the sense where, Daniel Bryan put him in an arm bar because he was working on that hand the whole time. So have him put him in an arm bar and try to mess with his hand and power bomb him with one arm. That would have freaked everybody out. That would have been the way to end that match. It was a little anticlimactic at the end, but overall, that was actually an insanely decent match. And personally, just like we've been saying with a lot of the other wrestlers, send Kingston to Japan for about a good year and then have him come back. I guarantee you his whole wrestling style, even as a strong style, would change overall. So far, I'm digging this whole thing with Eddie Kingston, and I will officially shut the hell up on any other insults that I have about
it.
Yeah. So for that one, Eddie Kingston did get that sign of respect. He did get the handshake from Bryan Danielson. So there we go. And yeah, so Eddie Kingston won the match, and
everybody went for Kingston. But also just adding on, because like I told you, they did the thing where they were showing at the end of each match and all that stuff with everyone backstage or whatever. And they had Kingston talking about the only thing he's ever really wanted was just, the respect and all that other stuff. He said he don't care about the fans. I mean, he cares about fans, but he said, getting respect from your fellow wrestlers in the locker room is the most important thing and all that other stuff. So, and with the way he comes across anyway, I don't know, it just sounded cool with the way he was saying it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to get that respect. You know what I'm saying? that northern way of speaking.
Yep. So next we have the
when I heard that line when you said, oh, I just imagined him, Kingston going, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then just cut to, cut to Tony Schiavone's like, you don't, Tony. You don't. Just-
So anyways, the next match we got is the All-Star Scramble match, and the winner will get a future AEW World Championship match. And we had the likes of Lance Archer, Hook, Brian Cage, Magnus, Dante Martin, Chris Jericho, Powerhouse Hobbs, and let me see. Oh, Mike Bennett and Wardlow. And yeah, it was a big, scramble match there.
Oh, I got stuff to do. Goodbye.
Hold on. Lots of meat for the match. The fans did the famous thing. Oh, I like that too, because we had like the 3 big guys and a bunch of smaller guys. So the smaller guys got tossed out early. So it was
Yes. Remember what I was saying about that?
yeah. You have to remind me. It's been a while.
Okay, they got tossed out.
Yeah.
Okay, the skinnier guys. Okay, this is how I described it. Okay, you had your big meaty dudes, right? Then you had like the really skinnier dudes, right? And then you have Jericho, who's fat and he's gonna be fat and fit at the same time. So the meaty gather the meat, the other gather the vegetables and the salad. So they got tossed out of the ring. So like a salad, you toss, like you got the salad tossed, you toss them out, and Jericho was the carbs. So that's what I call the match. And
yeah.
Okay, I'll show
so you
Okay.
so what you're saying is you had the skinny guys, and then you had the fat guys, and then you had Jericho, who's a fat walker.
There you go.
He's between both worlds.
Oh yeah.
So after the meteor guys tossed the smaller guys a salad, we got the beef guys together. The audience started chanting meat, meat, and it was literally everything they did. Anything was meat. any kind of move they would do on each other. And then they were trying to do the thing where they're trying to knock each other down with running elbows, but it's like the bigger guys, like Wardlow's not budging, and Cage is not budging, Archer's not budging. All of you of them did a whole bunch of flexing and showing off and all that kind of thing. It's I feel bad for Archer though, because when you compare him to the others, he's probably like the least defined of the others. You compare him to Hobbs and Cage and all that. But anyways, yeah, lots of fighting, lots of flippy shit with the other guys. I kind of like that because it did add a bit more variety to it. And you guys said that Dante Martin had like a botch or something?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was on something for that match. I mean, he had too much.
Yeah. So there was a spot where he was supposed to run out of the ring and do a tope con hilo. So he, runs, jumps over, lands on the people. The stereotypical dive off the top rope, like running dive off the top rope. He didn't so much dive as much as he just plummeted. He just went whoop, like just straight down, and he stumbled falling down, and then everyone was like, whoa! And it's like, I know they had to sell it, but it was just like it was so bad. Like his butt, he landed with his butt on the ring apron. Like he literally went, what? Like he couldn't have perfectly gone straight down anymore. It's like he was in the middle of jumping and then his body just went, nah. Like it was so sad.
But Dante was also on something because, like I said, his energy level was like way too high.
He found Tony's stash. Yeah, he found the stash. He found the stash.
You found Tony's
goodbye.
Well, yeah, pretty good match. And at the end, Wardlow was the one who won the title shot. As a lot of people predicted because, he's part of that other group there. We'll kind of get into that when we get into that. But, I mean, I was just saying, that was a good match. I enjoyed it. And I think that, because, sometimes when it is just the big guys, it might get kind of boring or repetitive or they don't work, right. But I think the extra little guys here and there, they kind of helped add more variety to the match. It made it a lot more entertaining than if it was just Cage, Hobbs, and Archer, I think. So they benefited from them. I kind of think.
I was laughing. So I was too busy laughing most of the time. So
yeah.
And laughing at Dante because seriously, the dude was on stuff. I was laughing mostly at him and all the meat and how I just turned them all into just a meal. So, just parts of a meal, that's all. They tossed the veggies out early. I mean, I just blinked. Hey, where'd Jericho go? You know,
I have to go back for Jericho because you got all these names and it really does sound like, and Jericho was there too. You know, like
yeah, I mean, he got thrown out early. Who got thrown out early? There was a number of roots. You know, it's just so silly. I don't remember much about this man. We making fun of it.
all I know is that somewhere wherever he is, where the big guys were fighting each other with the meat chants, McMahon was doing the gift the whole.
Oh yeah, I was making fun of that too. I was saying that too.
Well,
Yeah,
I love what Ellie from Busted Open, because I guess her and Mark Henry reviewed this pay-per-view, and he was like, well, Mark was like, oh, I loved it. So, you know me, I'm a big meat kind of guy. I like seeing two big burly men and big guys just beating each other up, because I'm a big man and I love seeing it. And she's like, yeah, but it's all great. I get the whole big meat thing, but if you get big meat, you better be good meat, not the discount grocery meat that we got. And I was like, she's not wrong. But my thing of it is this is why this match sucked. One, it was boring as shit. And two, I looked at everyone on the field. When you do a battle royal, when you do a ladder match, and this is the thing they don't get in AEW, you have to conceivably convince the audience this person could be a world champion. I looked at that entire card, not a single person. I go, next world champion. I didn't see any of that in that match. Like, everyone was just like, okay, this is a time filler. Got it. Oh, and it's a number one contender. Cool.
And in my opinion, this is a match that should have been switched. This should have been a pre-show match, and the women's team match should have been on this. And that's what I was thinking at the time too when I saw it.
I was actually like, I was literally, no joke, from start to finish, I made pasta. At the beginning, at the end of the last match, I started making pasta. And by the end of the match, and I would still made the pasta. It was all cooked. Everything was fine. By the time I sat down to eat, the match was still going on. And I'm like, oh my God, it's still here? Shit. Like, that's what I felt like. I'm like, end. This is boring.
Well, here's the question, though. How would the match with Wardlow versus Samoa Joe go now that he's got a title shot?
It'd be boring. It'd be very boring. It would be like the equivalent of watching.
You think Joe would at least get a good match out of him? Like, with Joe carrying the match?
No.
No?
I think with Wardlow oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wardlow, I was saying, Wardlow had potential up to a point. And that point was, one of the things, if you look at his early work, the best thing about Wardlow, what was so unique about him, and they never capitalized on it, was he could do kind of cruiserweight-esque moves with his big size in the same way that Brian Cage could, but Brian Cage kind of overdoes it a bit, whereas Wardlow had a right balance. But then they go, no, we don't want you to do any of that stuff. Because people, okay, do you remember what Wardlow's finisher was? His original finisher was?
The MJF
so first he did the F5.
Stance, I guess.
Before he did the power bomb, he had two finishers. The first one was an F10. Okay. He did the F10, but he also had another up his sleeve, the Swanton bomb.
Oh.
Now, a guy that big doing a freaking Swanton is terrifying. And he did it perfectly. Like, he did it like Jeff Hardy did. So if you rewatch it, you're like, whoa, this guy's got some talent. And that's the thing, but they never used it. And so now because of that, they've relied, it's the same problem with him, same problem with Hobbs, same problem with Satnam Singh, same problem with Lance Archer. It's Frankenstein wrestling. Just and that kind of wrestling doesn't work. Yeah. And you might as well just call him Ride Low, because he's Ryback Wardlow. That's all he is. He's Ryback. Except, unlike Ryback, Wardlow has skill. Boom. And
Oh no, I agree with you on that. I'm sorry, I'm with Jack on that one because me personally, I did not like Rob. I did not like Ryback. He
But
can
the
go,
way
he
they
can go jump in the lane along with the
but
book.
what I'm saying is they're booking Wardlow the way they booked Ryback, and that's terrible.
That's terrible.
That's terrible booking. You can't get a guy over in. This is what people don't understand. You can't only in developmental can you get a huge guy over by feeding him to feeding random jobbers to him. After a certain point, you got to have some sustainability to make him a convincing wrestler. Otherwise, it just falls flat. And when you he has to. You're going to get a Goldberg William Regal situation where, oh shit, Goldberg has to fight an actual wrestler and he doesn't know what to do. And it's the same problem. Joe is a big man who can fight anybody. Joe fights a cruiserweight the same way he would fight a super heavyweight because he is adaptable. And that's why I don't think him and Wardlow will have a good match because it would be a situation of just him. It has nothing to do with Joe. Joe is versatile as hell. Yeah. But it would be the equivalent of Bryan Danielson, one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet, versus Great Khali.
Oh, God, Lord Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, it doesn't matter how good a wrestler Danielson is. If your dance partner is breaking people's feet, it doesn't matter if you're Fred Astaire. It's the same principle.
I was gonna say, to that with what you just said about Wardlow. I was just saying, like, thinking about how Wardlow fights and all in general, like what he does now, because like I said, even with most of his matches now, it's always mostly just jobbers, and some of them those matches last like 10 seconds and he's over. I mean, the match is
Not
over.
even.
And he's fun. And with Joe, he can't just keep power bombing Joe. I like Samoa Joe, but yeah, even I agree.
I love Samoa Joe.
It probably be not a very interesting match because Wardlow doesn't do much aside from the power thing. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna pull a Kingston where Kingston, he was with Danielson, but he did technical stuff in the ring to match Danielson, but while also using his power moves. I mean, could you see Wardlow doing that with Joe?
Here's what you do with Wardlow. I'll tell you exactly what you do with Wardlow right now. You do the same thing with Lance Archer. You put them not in a world title picture yet because they got to redefine themselves. You put them in tag teams. You put them together to work off of other wrestlers. Not because they can't get over, but because they need to define themselves with how easily they can work with a high flyer. How easily can they work with a ground mat wrestler? How easily can they work with a guy who's literally half their weight density? Like, you need to go in that way. And like that like, imagine dream match or just dream idea, dream booking. Just imagine, take the skills of Daniel Garcia. Okay. Daniel Garcia is very talented, extremely well-rounded wrestler, not quite defined. Wardlow, a lot of potential, has the gimmick, not quite good wrestling. Put them together. Garcia and Wardlow teaming together in a tag team division, dude, that's cash money right there. Those two could clean house. I really think they could clean house together. Balancing off of each other. Garcia's not as strong, but he's a lot quicker. He's a lot more versatile. Wardlow has the versatility, but he doesn't have the technique. So you could work off of each other and have them fight the Lucha Brothers, have them fight the Young Bucks, have them fight different teams and get them used to working as a cohesive unit. And the easier you do that, you kind of loosening the gunk out of the gears and he can work off of that. And you're like, whoa, we saw how good he is in a tag team. Let's see how good he is as a champion. That's how you book it proper. But as of right now, do I see him and Wardlow having a good match? No. I see them having good spots, not good matches.
I have Panda and Johnny.
All right. For one, I do want to say this, and one thing that I am really getting sick of, and yeah, I noticed it with this match, is the big dumb oaf trope that they keep doing with the bigger wrestlers because you have guys like Wardlow who are highly athletic that can do some of the lightweight moves, but they want to book them as, okay, no, we don't want you to do that. We just want you to move around like Frankenstein, do a couple of stiff shots, do a couple of power moves, call it a day. But when you see what these guys can actually do, it's like, fuck it, let them go. I mean, best example, and I can take this even further back, Paul White, the guy that used to be Big Show. Before he was in WWE, this guy was doing kip-ups, super kicks. Could you imagine a guy that size doing freaking insecurities? That would look like it would knock somebody's block off. And then you've got a guy like Wardlow who's pretty much looking like a backflipping version of an Abrams tank coming off the top rope.
Guys.
Again, amazing. The only person that they have that's a big guy that they still let do high impact athletic moves, again, on the milk carton, is Luchasaurus. That's the only guy that they even let do that type of stuff. That's that big. But I digress. On to the match. Pretty much this was the deli meat match because you have 4 big slices of meat, 2 beef jerkies, and you got 1 air fryer, Chris Jericho. Let's face it, he's built like a freaking air fryer. Like, the other guys weren't even needed in this match for it to go on. And with that being said, it was still boring as hell. Like, this could have been put on Dynamite. Also, my other gripe about this, again, Hook needs to go to New Japan, but you know what? So does Dante, because I see a lot of potential in him, like Osprey-like potential with some of the moves that he was putting off. I'd say about a good 2 years in New Japan, he'd probably be up there at the least be able to go toe-to-toe with maybe Zack Sabre or something of that nature. But
look up, there's a guy who was in the New Japan dojo who trained under Kushida, who right now is killing it in Impact. He's getting better and better and better by the day. This guy, I believe, is a future world champion, Kevin Knight. Look up Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is if Dante Martin was done proper. Like, look him up. Dude is good. Dude can do backflips. Dude can do so much good stuff. He's got the potential. He's already used his skills. He knows what he's doing. All he has to do is put it to the test. And, like, he's at that point. Dante, I think, is like, he's going backwards. I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah. And and I think the main reason why is because AEW is underutilizing the talents. They're slowly becoming what WWE is, where they're going by their size and their stature and not by their actual talents. Like, if they let Wardlow completely loose and off the handle and let him do what he wants to do, and let Brian Cage off the handle and let him do what he wants to do, that match would have been phenomenal. It would have probably been batshit insane. Otherwise, since it was just a 4-man Frankenstein match that by chance featured Hook and Dante, I'm not even going to say Jericho because I think he just spent half of the time under the ring doing all fuck all, probably drinking a beer or whatever.
Wait, he was there?
Yeah, like, he was there. Like,
I know, seriously, he just...
Like, that was the first time a wrestler did a cameo in a cameo on a match. Like, I could have gone without that match. Like, it was just pointless. That could have been a 0-hour match.
Yes.
Johnny, what's your thoughts?
But what I remember this match is I felt like it was all over the place. And like what everybody else said, it's like the big guys versus the little guys versus Chris Jericho, which again, he wasn't really there much at the match to begin with. And I do have the same opinion with, I have actually kind of an unpopular opinion perhaps on Dante Martin, because I felt like he was actually way better when he first started AEW before he got injured. And then after he got injured and then now he came back, now it's like they don't know what to do with him. That's the way I feel about Dante Martin. Like, he has so much potential and he's a very good wrestler on his own, but I feel like, once again, Tony Khan doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to book his wrestlers properly. I feel like they don't even let them train properly. I don't know what it is. I just feel like there's something lacking with Dante Martin, and it felt like he was actually. It felt like he started out like a good hitter, and unfortunately, the injury got in the way. And when he came back, it's kind of like instead of him progressing, it's kind of like he kind of took a few steps back. That's the way I feel about it. In terms of the match, it's nothing really special. It's just like, okay, cool. Wardlow won the match. That's it. That's the only thing I can say about this match.
Okay.
So I think, like I said before, Wardlow won that one. And he got the title shot. We'll see how that goes. It's part of the bigger storyline because Wardlow's one of the guys with the, isn't it called the Undisputed Kingdom? With Adam Cole leading the group with Roderick Strong.
Yeah, it's the Undisputed Kingdom because it's like a play on their faction, the Kingdom, and the Undisputed Era. So it's like it's a combo of both, but they can't call it the Undisputed Era. But
Because,
for reasons. All right, so of course, as mentioned, Wardlow was the winner of this match, and everybody went for Wardlow except for Panda, who went for Hook. I don't blame him because, we saw, just hopefully, but as we all know, for Hook to get a rematch, I think that would have been interesting. But, because Wardlow and the Undisputed Kingdom are already making that thing, that declaration, like, we're going to win every chance we get to get titles. And that's kind of why I chose Wardlow for this one. And also at the backstage thing with Wardlow, he was with the Undisputed Kingdom, and I think you were talking about, we're the greatest in the world. We're the best wrestlers in AEW and all this other silliness, whatever.